Hey everybody, welcome to Guy's Comic Life, and I'm your host, Guy, if you didn't already know that. Rocking the Dragon Ball Squad t-shirt tonight. Came home and there was a package waiting for me. It was my Midtown comic books order for the week, so I got a couple goodies in there, so I'll show you what I got. And then I've got a small stack of books that I got this week. And as we all know, Detective Comics 1000 came out this week. I didn't get the cover that I wanted, but I'm going to pick that up next week. They just forgot to put it in my poll, but I'm surprised. My comic shop sold out of Detective 1000, and they ordered like 100 copies. And at a $10 price point, he didn't think he was going to sell a lot, and he sold out in a day. So he just pulled me a random book, one of the random covers. Not a bad cover, just not the one I wanted. But I'll get it next week. It's whatever. So yeah, I'm going to show you what's in the order from last week first. I got a lot of good stuff in this one. See, the cool thing about Midtown is you can get things for really good deals that they don't have anywhere else because they have artists and writers that come into their shop and do meet and greets and signings, and whatever they don't sell, they put on their website, and they put them up for cover price. So you can get like a signed book for $5 or $4. Like I got the Donny Cates signature on Guardians of the Galaxy 1 for like $5. And speaking of signed books, here's a little preview of who signed this book. Scott Snyder, my favorite Batman writer of all time. And this is the Batman Who Laughs, #1, first appearance of the Grim Knight, signed by the one and only Scott Snyder. And it is signed in a good spot in the silver Sharpie and a black cover, so that shows up really nice. It presents really well. The grade looks to be a 9.6, 9.8-ish. It looks pretty minty, so I don't know if this would get the green label on CGC or the yellow one. I mean, I have a certificate of authenticity. I don't know if you need a witness to get the yellow label. If you know for certain and you're watching, leave a comment if I would get the green or the yellow label. If I get the green, I don't want to send it in, but regardless, that's cool as hell. I love Scott Snyder. And that is a great series. If you're not reading Batman Who Laughs, go pick it up. Definitely a character who's going to be around for a while. So get his first appearance now while you can. That's in Teen Titans 12. I know it's like an $100 book, but the price is just going to keep going up, guys. One of the best modern villains. And I didn't pick this up when it came out. But this is Justice League Annual #1. And this is the first full cameo appearance of Perpetua. She is one of the main rising threats in DC right now, and she's got a future in DC. They've been building towards her all year. Scott Snyder's been writing this title all year, and once DC's Year of the Villain comes out, Perpetua will be like in full force. So this is mostly for speculation, but I'm gonna read it and see what all the buzz is about. Okay. Venom #12. I have the regular cover, but I wanted the Spider Villains variant. My comic shop doesn't get these Spider Villains variants, and this one is drawn by Ryan Stegman, the artist behind the Venom Donny Cates run. And you can see he's fighting Spider-Man, and anytime Spider-Man and Venom fight on the cover, I need to have it. Like, one of the reasons I love Venom, not just because he's a great character, it's because he was, at one point, the arch nemesis of Spider-Man. Like in the 70s, it was Green Goblin. In the 80s, it was, like Hobgoblin and, shit like that. And then in the 90s, you had Venom and Carnage. And this is just like a really cool throwback. Like this comic cover makes me feel like a kid again. And great story too. Another character who has a feature in comics is Dylan Brock, Eddie Brock's son. Sorry, spoiler if you haven't read that yet. But yeah, Dylan is Eddie's son. And the symbiote did something really interesting. It saved Dylan and Eddie from the Maker, and it's unbonded to Eddie. They're not bonded, but the symbiote has regained its strength and its memories and is itself again. But it's not bonded to anybody, but it can mimic street clothes and it can mimic a person's physical appearance. But Eddie and the symbiote are separated, and it's going to be interesting going forward to see Eddie without, you know, the symbiote without a host. That's really weird. Also, because I know the next 3 issues of Venom, Donny Cates isn't writing it, unfortunately. They're doing a War of the Realms tie-in, I think written by Colin Bunn, who's actually a pretty good writer. I'm not too worried about the story or anything. But I just wonder, like, how are they going to do that story for 3 issues without a symbiote? Or unless they're gonna bond again. I don't know. Interesting. But I'm gonna miss Donny Cates for 3 issues. War of the Realms is what it is. Another long DC event. The DC event I want to read is by Donny Cates, Everybody's a Target, which is like a Venom Carnage crossover. They just revealed Absolute Carnage, which Ryan Stegman is going to draw, and Donny Cates is going to write it, and this has such a Maximum Carnage feel to it. Pick up Carnage Mind Bomb or Carnage It's a Wonderful Life if they're like 2 cool 90s books that are kind of like the brainchild behind this whole thing. Anything with the symbiotes is awesome. Oh. And this is the main reason why I put in a Midtown order. My comic shop does not get variants, and I'm obsessed, just like everyone else right now, I'm obsessed with the Immortal Hulk. And issue 15 came out last week, and I wanted the variant cover to number 15. Oh, damn, that is so cool. That is fire. Got Alex Ross doing the beautiful cover. It's like Hulk is like jumping out of the plane. He's like, falling through the sky, and just looks like a cool topographical area, it just looks like the Grand Canyon or something, and he's just diving right in. And you got the Marvel's 25th logo. So yeah, this is the anniversary of when Alex Ross drew that series. Crazy. And I don't know why, but this variant is like unattainable. I went to 3 shops. This was nowhere. Man, Immortal Hulk is just selling out like crazy. Even 16 is sold out like everywhere. There's a 1 in 25 variant that is going for over $100, sold out. There's a second printing that's sold out, and there's a 1 in 25 second printing that's going for like $70. And people are pissed. There's never been a 1 in 25 variant for a second print ever. People are furious about it. I'm kind of butthurt about it, but I was never going to pick up the 1 in 25. I think anything above $50 for a 1 in 25 is ridiculous. I'm here to enjoy the story, and I love the covers by Alex Ross, so Immortal Hulk, stick with it. And then while I showed up the variants, here is 15. I just picked this, I have it on my pull list, so this is the one they pulled for me. I do love this cover as well. Alex Ross, best cover artist in the game. One of the all-time greats. Doc Samson. So it looks like in the next issue, Rick Jones is coming back. So look for A-Bomb coming back. Immortal Red She-Hulk will happen. I don't know if it's this issue or further down the line, but my money's on the next issue because there's so many variants for the next issue. There's 2 1 in 25s. There's already a second print that's sold out. There's 2 variants to the first print. So my money's on the next issue. It's going to be key. Pick up 16. If you haven't picked up Immortal Hulk, start now. Start now. I'm sure everyone has told you to start now. I'm a small channel, but I'm just going to tell you, start now. And I have Amazing Spider-Man 18 by Nick Spencer and Humberto Ramos. This is the Hunted story, part 2, or part 3 if you count the spin-offs and stuff like that. But pretty cool cover with all the villains, and it looks like someone's like swooping down on them. But this issue is pretty weird. Kraven gets like a mech suit, and his son's like chasing Spider-Man, and all the villains are on Central Park, and Kraven's like televising it. It's a pretty strange story so far. And at the end of the book, that mysterious bandage guy shows up, and he's sitting next to Mary Jane saying, "Hey, Peter, I'm going to take care of her for you." So that's what I'm like really, really interested to see. I want to know who that dude is, and we're not going to find out till like issue 24, 25. I do like Humberto Ramos' art. It's just funny because Ryan Otley is like marketed as the artist for this series. He's barely drawn any issues. He's probably drawn like half the issues. He is very, very slow. Yeah, his like turnout rate for art is not good. It's not in his favor. And it's just mediocre in my opinion. Ryan Otley's just okay with Spider-Man. I prefer Humberto Ramos. I just don't like when a book is inconsistent, and right now Amazing Spider-Man's inconsistent. Not with the writing, but with the art. Not a fan. And I'm not huge on independents, but I like Spawn. I'm going to collect it until issue 300. This is a clean copy. This is a 9.8. This is 100% a 9.8. And it's a beautiful cover by Francesco Mattina. Another thing that's drawing me into Spawn. Like, look at the clown's head right here. That is messed up. I love the green. Man, his head just chopped off. I need to read this, find out what this is all about. This is part 1 of the story that leads into 300. Spawn 300, 4 more issues, guys. 300. This is the longest running independent title of all time, regardless of how you feel about Spawn or if you don't know anything. This is the longest running independent ever, and Todd McFarlane did something special. I mean, hey, it's basically the Prowler, but in hell. Todd McFarlane did it, guys. He created a revolution, and you should be proud. And the book we've all been waiting for. Got one DC book, guys, and it is thick. Look how thick that is. That's what she said. 96 pages. 80 years in the making. Detective Comics 1000. I'm Batman. But yeah, guys. This is the Jock cover, the 2000s variant. They did a variant per decade. And it is, don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful cover. But the one I want is the 1940s Bruce Timm, or the 1980s Frank Miller would satisfy me. I'm not going to go crazy and get a crap ton of these variants because it is a high price point book. Man, I feel like an idiot for not getting the Alex Ross cover. I had that in my cart to pre-order for $60, and I kept sleeping on it, saying, man, it's $60, it's going to stay at that price. Don't pay $60 now, you know, it's just going to stay like that. You know, it's too much for a modern book. Should have bought it, because that book is going for $300 plus, and if you get it signed and graded, there are copies going for $800. CGC 9.8 signed. $800. Ridiculous. But this book is incredible. It's basically like what Action Comics 1000 was to Superman. They followed the same formula. They basically got all the famous writers and artists that have been on Batman the last few decades. Like they had Neil Adams draw a story, Jim Lee draw a story, Kevin Smith write a story, Paul Dini, Bruce Timm do one. Tony Daniel drew a couple story. Tom King wrote one. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, my favorite Batman team ever, did a story in here. They just have something for everybody that grew up with Batman. If you're a fan of Batman from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, or present, there is something in here for you. And that is exactly what they wanted to do. They achieved it. And I like that this book spine is so thick. It's in that like prestige format kind of thing. They really took their time with this. I'm glad it was worth the wait. And on the last page, the last story was by Peter Tomasi and Doug Mank, who their last storyline was incredible. And the last page, the Arkham Knight from the video game is revealed in this comic book, but it's not the same Arkham Knight from the video game. It is a brand new character. So this is his first cameo appearance. But the book to look out for is the next issue, because that is his first full appearance, guys. You want to pick that book up. And it's going to be wild. Batman versus the Arkham Knight. I cannot wait. So good job, DC Comics. You did something right. Detective Comics, going strong. Better than the regular Batman title, in my opinion. Happy birthday, Batman. Okay, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed my comic book haul. Immortal Hulk 16 is out on Wednesday. Make sure you're at your comic shop early and you pick that sucker up. It is going to be really, really good. Okay? Until next time, like, share, subscribe. Peace out, y'all.